I am ready. Yeah.
Tona Restine, welcome to the couch next door. Oh, I'm so excited to hang out with you this afternoon.
Gosh, thank you. Me too. This has been something I've been looking forward to all week long.
Same,
So good to see
same.
you.
I know. I told her, I was like, I got to push record because we were already like, we jumped in. We're talking about our, her adult children and all the things. And, so it's going to be fun. This is going to be a fun one. I just know. And I always love hanging out with you. And we haven't gotten to hang out in a while. So
Not
I'm
in a
excited.
long time. Too long. Yes,
Yes,
me
yes.
too.
Well, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you, your business, what you do on a day-to-day basis, your family. What do we need to know about Tona?
My gosh, all that you need to know about Tono. Well, for business, I am a life and business coach. I do life and business coaching. I do it full time under the umbrella of my company that's called Life Imagined.
Mm-hmm.
And Life Imagined is like my third child. I love
Mm-hmm.
my little company. It has
Yes.
grown really from just a dream, just an idea, something I imagined, into
Mm-hmm.
something that sustains our family. It gives me an avenue for all kinds of creativity and, um, giving back, even some ministry work, I would have to
Mm-hmm.
say. And I'm married to Kevin Restine for 43 years.
Yay!
Yeah, long time. We've got two grown kids who are 33 and 37, and a funny
Mm-hmm.
little dog named Bruin, and a wonderful daughter-in-law. No grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
I think is if you see behind me, I don't know if you can see that I do have a grandbaby on my vision board.
Huh.
She's lived there for a long time, but so far she remains on the vision board. Little
Mm-hmm.
baby Olive.
Oh, her name's Olive. Okay, love it.
Name is Olive. Yeah. My poor son was at some event with his dad, and one of my clients was there, and she said, "Oh, Ryan, oh my gosh, you're Olive's dad." And Ryan was like, um, Olive is a figment of my mother's imagination. But, I do believe in, what you think about, you bring about.
That's
So,
right. Yeah,
for
you
sure.
practice what you preach.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, yes. Well, I have to confess, like since we met years and years ago, and we can maybe talk about that funny story, but like in the back of my mind, I was like, I just want to be Tona when I grow up because, and one of the biggest reasons I feel that way about you is because of the relationship you have with your kids. I mean, it is admirable how like you just enjoy them. You enjoy all of them. Your daughter-in-law, your son, your daughter, you just enjoy them. And I can tell that they enjoy you. And I just want so deeply to have that same sort of relationship with my kids once they're in that stage of life. And I just love that about you.
Thank you for saying that. I have to tell you, there's a lot of intention to that whole
Mm,
notion. When our kids were young, I started praying every day for two things. Number one,
hmm.
I prayed for whoever they were going to marry. I,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
did do that. And my daughter in law, I couldn't love her more. I mean, I
Mm.
couldn't love her more. And they've been together since they were like in junior high. So she kind of
Oh,
has grown up with us, really.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
that was one thing I prayed for. The other thing I prayed for is that our kids would be friends
Hmm.
with or without
Absolutely.
right? I
Yeah.
wanted them to have their own relationship
Yeah.
that was whole and separate, no matter what Kevin
Right.
and I were doing or where we were. And they do. They are
Mm,
great, great friends. Lots of times
mm.
they call each other with news before they call us,
I love that. Yeah, that's what you want.
We do. Yeah, we really,
Hmm.
really do. Yeah, no, they're great. They're good people, but they're hilarious people too.
Yeah.
They're very funny, like their dad is funny. They're funny like him, but they're
Well,
sweet
you're
like me.
you're funny too. Yeah, I think you roll with the punches. You have to.
In this family, we do, let me tell
Yeah.
you. Thank you. No, that's a high compliment. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. And so we met. Do you want to tell the little story of us
Oh, you,
sitting
yeah,
by
you
each
go
other?
ahead. You go ahead and then I'll chime in.
Okay. So Tona and I were in a Bible study, and this was like the social or something after we had ended the Bible study. And so we're sitting at this little cafe, and she was new to the group, right? That was when you had
Oh,
just,
brand new. I think
yeah.
honest. actually, I think it was my second week right after we moved to town. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she happened to sit by me and we just started chatting and she realized I was a therapist and that she was like, "You're a therapist."
Oh, well.
But what
What
I
was
remember,
really bad about that is, I think before I knew you were a therapist, Kevin and I had just moved here. Literally, we'd been
Mhm.
here 2 weeks. And what no one knew is I had just been diagnosed with lymphoma.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, we pulled in, met the movers, unloaded the furniture, and found a church because
Yeah.
I thought if I am, going to go to heaven in the next few months,
Mhm.
I got to find some friends so someone can cook for this man and love him and
Take
be
care of
able to
him.
have someone at our funeral, at my funeral. And so I just thought the only place I know to make friends fast is church. So
Yeah.
that's literally went within days of moving here to church. And then that's where I met you. And they told us just sit somewhere at this little cafe. And so I sat next to you and probably no doubt poured out my whole heart and said, who do you know that makes a good casserole for Kevin in the event of my demise?
Yeah.
And when I found out you were a therapist, I thought, oh my gosh, this poor girl, she's been working for this whole hour and I had no
No.
idea.
No, here's what I remember about that. I was like, gosh, I love how you were just you. Like you were super authentic. I mean, you shared some stuff, but you weren't afraid to share it and you were very authentic about it, which I've learned that's just you. That was just you. Like you were being Tona. There was no way around it, that you were just showing up as you. And I loved that and appreciated that about you. And I felt an instant connection because you were so true to yourself in that moment.
Thank you. I have to tell you, I felt that same connection.
Yeah.
And then later to get to know your little guys and Jason. I mean, it was a very sweet season. And now
Hmm.
fast forward 9 years later, if you can
Hmm.
imagine.
I know.
I'm really healthy in not even only just remission, but it's gone, and I'm
Mm.
well and healthy and, have been very, very, very fortunate.
Yeah. And plenty of people that will bring casseroles
Oh
should
gosh, I know.
should that be necessary.
Well, now it's even evolved beyond that. Now I need someone to marry him because he says, if something happens to me, I say, or if something happens to him, I always say, I'm never getting married. And he goes, no, you and the dog will just live your happy days.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what if something happens to me now? And he goes, shoot, girl, I'm bringing a date to your funeral. So it's totally evolved.
Right.
Not
He's
only needs
already
a casserole, he needs a date.
yes.
So
Oh my gosh.
what a mess.
Hilarious. So
Yeah, what
funny.
a
So
mess
funny.
he is. I don't think
Right.
he's kidding, by the way. I really don't think
See, you have a great sense of humor. You have to, again.
right. Oh my.
Well, speaking of Kevin, what's your rant?
Oh my Lord. Well, my rant really is his fault. We have this thing and it's his deal. We cannot get a door ding in our car. No matter what, we cannot get a door ding. So we always park like, at the edge of wherever we're
Sure.
going.
Yeah.
And I can't stand not to put a basket back. And
Yeah.
so I am usually trudging miles through a parking lot to get the basket put back. And so I'm very sensitive if others don't also put their
Of
cart.
course. That's a whole other rant. Yes.
It's a
Put your
whole
carts up.
thing.
Hmm.
Put your darn carts up. If I can do it, through the rain, a mile out into the parking lot.
Absolutely.
You can too.
Yes.
So
Yes.
probably it's about, I don't know why Kevin Restine has to park so darn far away, although really is probably the most exercise I get, so I shouldn't complain too much. But that and not putting your grocery cart away,
Huh.
it's just a thing with me. I think it's not good.
Yeah.
Not put
No, it's not nice. Well, and I agree. You said in the form, it really presents a character flaw if you're not one. I agree. I totally agree. Well, because here's the thing, like somebody else did this rant, I think in the last season. And here's what I said at that point. There's so many of those cart return things now where it used to there may be just one or two, but they're everywhere.
They are
In like the
everywhere.
HEB parking lot, for instance,
Right.
they're
Yeah.
everywhere. So there's really no excuse. You have
Yeah.
so many
So
options.
someone else had this as a rant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it was a dude. It was a dude who did.
Interesting. And very
So
interesting.
you are not alone in this.
I just think it is not nice.
It is not nice. No, it's inconsiderate. Yeah. Why do you think Kevin is so door ding phobic? What is that about? Has he had like a lot of door dings at some point in his life?
Lord, no, he wouldn't survive it. No. No. He just can't handle it. He thinks it, I don't know, knowing him, it's a stewardship issue or something.
Okay. Okay.
He
Okay.
just thinks you take care of your things. And
Okay.
no. Now he'll drive his car so close to the curb that he's probably dinging up his wheels, but he does not have a door
But
ding.
don't ding his doors. Yeah.
I don't know, but as long as I've known him, since he was 19 years old, it's been a thing. So,
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
so
Yeah. Well,
if you're ever looking to see if the Restines are anywhere, look at the edge of the parking lot, and that's how
that's
you'll know.
where you'll be.
Yeah, always.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's funny. That's really well. And like you said, he's been like that since you've known him. So this isn't like a trauma situation where he's been traumatically
Probably,
dinged.
some latent mother issue. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. But take care of your things. I get that. I get that. Yeah. Yeah. All right, Tona, are you ready to jump into our conversation? Let's do it. The thing I said earlier, like I would love to be Tona when I grow up. And one of the things is just something that you said in the forum is you just love talking about business. You love talking about other people's business. You love talking about your business. You just love talking about business. And you love the business owner, which is such a kind thing to even just like sentiment to communicate to anybody that's in sort of this entrepreneurship of being a business person. And I think, when I think about us connecting, me being a business owner, my mom was a business owner, my dad was a business owner at one point in his life. It's like, it's almost like in my blood as much as I didn't want it to be. Because my parents desperately wanted me to major in business. And so what did I do? I did not do that, because that's exactly what they wanted me to do. And I'm that kind of person. But knowing you and meeting you and knowing how you support other business owners and how passionate you are about that is such a gift, I think, in this space. And so I'm really excited for us to be able to dive in. Like, what does that really look like? How do you support business owners well? And specifically, we're talking about mindfulness, purpose, and intention, because those are like your really key core things that you speak on. So when we're talking about purpose, why do you think that's so important to the work that we do, knowing what that purpose is?
Yeah, I think purpose really is it's our foundation. It's our starting point.
Mm-hmm.
Without purpose, we're kind of aimless, that ship without a rudder, or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the metaphor would be. Purposeful mindfulness intention. I can't get away from it. I don't know how to get away from it. So I have wrapped my arms around it my
Mm,
entire career.
yeah.
The love of the business owner. A couple of years ago, a couple of girlfriends and I were doing some year-end business planning with our clients. This gal, Jen, said, we want to grow the business owner so the business owner can grow the business.
Mm,
I mean, it
wow.
hit me at such a deep level.
Yeah.
Honestly, every time I talk about the business owner, I should give Jen uh,
Hmm.
prop, props, because
Mm,
she totally coined it and I've adopted it as my
yeah.
own by
Yeah.
now.
No, I
And
love
I
it.
really
Yeah.
do owe her a royalty fee on it,
Hmm.
because I think about it, I write about it, I talk about it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Owning a business, as people intensive as it can also be very lonely.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's
Absolutely.
hard to find your safe spaces in that. And
Hmm.
I've just figured out a way to come alongside business owners in need meeting ways to remind them you don't have to do it alone.
Hmm.
We really can join hands, join arms, and trudge this path that you're on. And A lot of business owners don't know that. So they spend a lot of time in sort of an isolated headspace
Hmm.
unnecessarily.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when you think about purpose, how do you help somebody to hone in on what their purpose is? Because I can understand if you don't know that, you're trying to do too many things, right? And then you're not doing anything well. So how do you get somebody to really figure out what their foundation, what their purpose is?
Yeah, there are several coaching exercises that I can, walk someone through, but some of it's
Hmm.
just really simple um, conversation, asking them some just curious questions like,
Yeah.
what matters most?
Hmm.
Right? What do people say about you when you leave the room? What do you
Hmm.
want them to say about you when you leave
Yeah.
the room? What has been true about you since you were a little girl?
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Those typically are indicators of purpose. um Again, we don't walk around like in with this on full display or a knowledge, but with some very directive coaching questions.
Hmm.
It's really not too hard for people to access it,
Yeah.
and then once they access it, we can move in that direction quite easily,
Yeah.
actually. But it
Yeah.
starts with just some real, introspective questions.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
and working,
favorite thing, some
yeah.
of that stuff.
Well, and working with somebody like you allows them to give that thought intention, right? Like to be intentional about those things. Because again, we're just so focused on, well, I got to run the business and I got to do all the business stuff to really slow down and think about, well, hold on, what is most important?
That's
That
right.
that sometimes we don't take the time to do that. And again, then we're doing too many things and nothing's actually working the way that we want it to.
That's right. And that's the work of coaching.
Hmm.
Not unlike the work you do. The
Sure.
focus is just different, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In the coaching hour, unless we're working on something tactical, which sometimes we do, but
Hmm.
it's time set apart. It's a sacred space not to work on the tactical stuff, right? Not to be
Hmm.
talking about the profit and loss statement,
Right. Right.
the, the nuts and bolts. We schedule time to do this work because it's very different than and like I say, some sessions are extremely tactical,
Mhm.
but some sessions aren't. And we
Yeah.
create space for that deep work.
Yeah. 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 So if you were talking to a business owner and they were struggling with knowing what their purpose was, or maybe, I don't know, maybe the first question is maybe they don't value really sitting down and thinking that through. What would you say to them?
I would say, can we slow down? Can we back
Mm,
up?
yeah.
Because usually when people don't usually come to me to figure out their purpose, it's
Uh-huh.
really interesting. They come to me to help their business.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we always do that and we get there and that's easily done. But a lot of times to unlock, um, we got to get to unlock, right, the business piece. We got to
Hmm.
get to some of that personal deep work, right? We
Yeah.
got to help them remember their value, help them get in
Mm,
touch with their worth, right? Remind them of their gifts and talents and abilities and some of those
hmm.
God breathed divine enablements. And
Mm.
that's the deep work that
Yes.
I'm so passionate about, right? Once we do that, we can really take the lid off their jar and do all kinds of things to increase their profits and their
Hmm.
productivity and all of that. But that deep work happens with a lot of intention, but it doesn't always, that's not, that's usually not the genesis of our work,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
They,
Yeah.
because either they want to increase their productivity and profitability, or
Hmm.
they come because they need, they're not at peace, they're stirred
Hmm.
up, they're in anxiety about their business.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we just got to go take a few steps back and do some of
Yeah.
that heart work first. And then we go on to
Yeah.
the other stuff.
Which is so good for somebody like yourself when, like you said, most of the time they're not contacting you to talk about the deep work. They want, they want their numbers to go up, right? But you recognizing the importance of that and being the foundation to their numbers going up, for instance, right? Like that we've got to start there. And when I think about it in the mental health space, when I notice that clients are feeling a loss in their identity, right? Or they're just having trouble making decisions. What do? We work on values, which is essentially your purpose, right? And let's identify what is most important to you, because those kinds of things will help to guide those decisions and to know what you can let go of and where your focus is. And so it's so important to just a person in general to know those things, but especially in the business sense, because like you said, it can be very isolating, and we need to know what we're good at and what is important so that we aren't spreading ourselves too thin.
That's right. And the way our society is structured, we really don't have an avenue for putting it out there and to say, do you guys like me?
Right. Right.
Do you think I'm good at what I do? Right? We don't have that kind of safety and
Yeah.
anonymity usually to do that. And so I think there is a need for that though, because we need to know that, right? It's
Hmm.
it's so valuable for us to know.
Yeah.
And so to have someone just help you navigate those waters, that's someone that is safe, someone that is wholly confidential, a real cheerleader for you, but a
Yeah.
cheerleader who can also tell you the truth and
Yeah.
ask you the hard questions. To me, it's why, I mean, that's why I still work with a coach to this very day,
Sure. Right.
because
Right.
of the value I place on the work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's so important. So important. Just, I mean, for people to even know that, right? Because I mean, especially if you are a single business owner, you don't get, quarterly reviews or like nobody's telling you, hey, this is where you're doing well. This is where maybe you need some work. We don't get that. And so again, does anybody like me? Does anybody like what I'm doing? We have to base it on the numbers a lot of
Yeah, no,
times,
it's
right?
really an interesting conundrum because
Mm-hmm.
I told my coach one time, uh, it's you can feel like you're in an echo chamber almost, and you
Yeah.
only hear your own voice
Yeah.
all the time. And so for me, that's really important to, like I said, to coach, to be a product of my product, to put myself in spaces where I'm not the only voice in the room, to
Mm-hmm.
be seeking mentors all the time,
Yeah.
to become a forever learner so that I'm not in an echo chamber. It's
Yeah.
really important. And when you are a business owner or a solopreneur or whatever, whatever the
Mm-hmm.
buzzword,
Yeah.
you know, you're busy, you're going, you're doing, you're keeping the wheels on the bus. And it's hard to take time out
Yes.
to
Yeah.
do that. And
Yeah.
yet it's critically important.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like you said, it's a child. It's this, I mean, you are birthing another thing that definitely feels like a human life. And I remember when I went to therapy, and it was like right when I think first had my first child, and talking about what we wanted our family to look like. And I was also starting my business. She was like, I need you to remember that your business is like a child. Like, so you need to look at it that way. It is. And this is my therapist telling me that. And so, yeah, she was like, you have to see that as another person that you've birthed and that you have to care for and nurture and pour energy into.
Absolutely. I mean, I did a whole thing last summer on even how are ways we can honor our business. Our
Mm,
business honors us, right?
yeah.
It provides us the financial means to live the life we want to lead.
Yeah.
It honors us. With it strokes our egos sometimes, not
Yes.
always.
Right.
Sometimes
Right. Sometimes it does the opposite.
it provides the feel good we need,
Yeah.
right? But how can we honor our business? And so I did a whole thing last year on even taking a look around the space of your business, beautifying it, making it lovely. That's a way we can honor our business and give back to our business some of the goodness it gives to us. Pretty esoteric thought, but it's pretty fun to think about.
Oh, I love, well, it just shifts your mindset a little bit, I love that. That's so helpful.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about mindfulness, okay? Which I know we kind of have dabbled already in the conversation. We've talked about mindfulness, but when we're talking about mindfulness playing a part in a purposeful life and your purpose in your business, what are you teaching on that particular subject of mindfulness?
I am doing a lot of teaching on mindfulness right now. I actually just started a few months ago a newsletter
Mm-hmm.
called The Stepping Stone, a monthly dose of mindfulness.
Love it.
And I believe it is something that keeps us mindfulness keeps us connected to our purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I also think it keeps us connected to intentionality. I really
Mm-hmm.
do. Never done a word study on the difference between mindfulness and intentionality, but I think maybe I should. I hadn't thought about that till right
Oh,
now,
yeah.
right? It might be a little difference. But, you know, so often, again, like I said, especially as business owners, we go on this autopilot, right? We
Mm-hmm.
are in the grind, we're on the hustle all the time. Many times we have to be. And so we're on this autopilot. And I think mindfulness takes us off of autopilot.
Mm. Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Coach, she said one time, we were talking about the notion of autopilot, and she said, "You are not an airplane. You do
Mm.
not belong on autopilot." And I really heard that at a deep
Mm-hmm.
level. I don't want my day to run me. I really want to speak into my day mindfully, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That difference of to be the thermostat, not the thermometer.
Mm-hmm. That's
The
so good.
determines the temperature, right? The thermometer just tells you what the temperature is.
Mm-hmm.
The thermostat, to me, that's a word picture for mindfulness.
Yeah. And so when you think, like, I mean, you have your newsletter, and I know you practice this very diligently daily. So, I mean, what is one way, if somebody's saying, oh, that sounds great, I want to do that, what might be a way for them to implement that in terms of like helping them to be a little bit more mindful, which is going to help with the intentionality and knowing their purpose? So, where would they start with that?
Yeah, I would start really simply, right? I am a real believer in the notion of incrementalism, right? So
Mm-hmm.
start small, take one small step closer, right? Rather
Yeah.
than try to take all these giant leaps to get from here to there, just take a small step and see where you go. So my first small step, always, without a doubt, is to tell someone, just start every morning writing 3 or 4 things you're grateful for.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Simple, right? Get in touch with what's good in your life and write it down.
Mm-hmm.
It's very simple. It takes 2 minutes tops, right?
Mm-hmm.
The discipline of writing it. A lot of people say, "Oh, I think it," or "I pray
Right.
it," and that's
Yes.
great,
Mm-hmm.
But there is something pretty powerful. You probably know the science better than I do of that eye, hand, heart, mind
Yes.
connection to writing,
Yes.
right?
Right.
So that's always my start point. Just start writing what you're grateful for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can build on it from there, but that's a perfect start to bring what's good in your
Mm-hmm.
life into a place of top of mind awareness.
Yeah. 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 It's funny that you said that. Like when I speak to people about maybe journaling or doing some version of this, I hear very often, which you probably do too. Oh, well, I thought about it. I didn't write it down. Or, and so yeah, the science being like you're connecting these two hemispheres of your brain that's acknowledging the emotional side of it and the logical side of it that helps you to be grounded. And it really makes, like you said, that connection to you as a whole person. And also why talk therapy and talking to your coach is helpful because speaking does a very similar thing. And so, yeah, you can think it all you want, but sometimes until we get it outside of ourselves, it doesn't feel real. And if it doesn't feel real, then how is that really going to help us with the intention and the purpose that we're trying to name and feel really in our lives or in our business?
Right. Ed Milet says something that just created such a beautiful word picture for me. He says, if you get something out of your head, right? This is our most valuable real estate, right? Right up
Yeah.
here in our brain, right? So get it out of your head and onto paper. You physically change your perspective on it because now that it's
Totally.
out of your head, you're physically above it, looking down on it. It is in a
Yes.
place of subordination to your thoughts. And
Yes.
I used that example so many times. Years ago, our son was in therapy when he was a little guy, and his therapist wanted him to to journal. And I think he was like in junior high. And
Yeah.
he's like,
So he didn't want to do that.
and he
Right.
said, okay, if you don't want to write the words, I want you to get a piece of paper and think your thoughts, whatever your thoughts are. But I want you just to doodle or just to draw
Mm-hmm.
scribbles or whatever. If
Yeah.
writing the words doesn't come easily to you, then just doodle while you think.
Mm-hmm.
And even that became a practice that he could embrace.
Yeah. I love that.
I've had lots of clients do that. Just,
Mm-hmm.
okay, don't want to write it. Just draw circles on your page while you think
While you
it.
think about it. Yes.
Somehow connect, like that connection of those two
Yeah.
hemispheres. It's science, and it really does make sense.
It really, well, and it works, like
Yeah.
if you could just think it, then we would support that. But that's not gonna, you're not doing yourself a service by just thinking it. Like, this is where it's really going to be solidified and actually make an impact on your life, is if you get it outside of your brain. Yeah. 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 Okay. I want us to talk about adding glam to the grind, because I love that. Have you trademarked that term? Because I love it. So I don't
should
know.
copyright it, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm talking about it everywhere, right?
You do. Yeah, because adding glam to the grind, it's beautiful. It's perfect.
Glam to the grind actually kind of came to me a long time ago when probably, I don't know, gosh, maybe during COVID, right? When the whole world kind of came home.
Mm-hmm.
Every client I was coaching was coming in looking like, oh my
Oh,
goodness, right?
yeah.
And these were professional folks running big businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And and so I thought, okay, lighten up, Miss Fussy. We're in a quarantine we've never been in before.
Right.
And so I lightened up during that time. Um, but it never changed.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 years later, people are still showing up. Multi-million dollar producing people are still showing up in a messy bun and yoga pants, and
Yeah.
there is a disconnect, I
Yeah.
think. And so I just started working on ideas and concepts to glam it up enough so that we honor it. Again, it goes back to honoring the space that honors you and your family and your work.
Mm.
And so there are so many just like very inexpensive, tiny little touches you can
Mm-hmm.
make that really does glam it up. It costs $6 to go out and buy a little bouquet of flowers to keep on your desk, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Right? Light a candle. You want to send a message to your brain that this is something special. This is something that matters. Light a
Mm.
candle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those tiny things show up ready to receive the work you've prayed for, right? We
Yeah.
pray for clients and productivity and production and profitability and all of
Mm-hmm.
those things. So let's show up dressed for it,
Yeah.
even if we work from home.
Right. Right. Well, it's like what you're saying. I mean, you're also creating an environment, right, that makes it mean something.
That is
If you just are rolling in with your top knot and your yoga pants, and you can do that every once in a while, but if you're doing that every day, then you're right. Where is it feeling special? Where is it feeling like, okay, I'm here to work and this is a special thing that I get to do? There's no transition. It just is there. And that is one of the biggest things I think that happened in COVID, is nobody knew how to separate home and work, because there wasn't any separation anymore. Even if because now the kids are home and they're doing school at home. I mean, it was just a nightmare trying to figure out the separation. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. The way our house is oriented, our offices are upstairs, and Kevin and I both do work from home.
Mm-hmm.
Our offices are upstairs, and so we really, really create a delineation of space. And
Mm.
downstairs is for living and loving and family and eating and all of that. And so we really try to discipline ourselves. If he has, and he's a real estate agent, so he does not always keep routine hours. And so if he has got to do more than just send a quick text, he will always say, you know what, go ahead and watch what you want on TV. I'm going to run upstairs and button this up. so
Mm-hmm.
that downstairs really is for
Mm.
family. So we work very diligently to keep some separation between
Yeah.
work and space and
Yeah.
work and home.
Yeah. Well, and that's so intentional. I mean, that's speaking into the intention of that and making that space specific and special. But I love the idea of, like you said, lighting a candle, putting a bouquet of flowers, just something. Because, I mean, when we think about the psychology of that too, that also grounds us that this is our work, right? And this is something to be proud of. And it's a reminder of our environment, how that plays a part in how we feel about our work, how we feel about ourselves in our work, right?
When I was a young mom, I had a mentor in my life, and she said we would always try to have dinner hour at the table together when our kids were little. And she said to me one time, "I love that you do that. Why don't you light a candle and see what happens?" And I'm
Mm,
like, I never thought about lighting a candle. It's a everyday Tuesday. We're having pot
right,
roast.
right.
Kids are fighting, and
Yeah, yeah.
normal life. And she goes, light a candle and see what happens.
Mm,
Did, and it became this elevated experience. Now we didn't do it every single night, but we
yeah,
probably did it 2 or 3 nights a week.
yeah.
And instantly, the mood came down. Kids kind of mellowed out because a candle signifies something special.
Yes, yes.
And so she taught me that. And then she said, and do cloth napkins. So to this day, we use cloth napkins at my house. And our kids
Wow.
do too. Yeah, we just had dinner
Oh,
at Ryan and Brittany's on Sunday and cloth napkins. And it's not fancy. It's
yeah.
just something a little
It's
special when we
special.
gather around the table with a candle going and a cloth napkin.
It just elevates it a little bit. It adds glam, little touches of glam that are not expensive, that
No,
don't take a lot of thought or energy or time. Yeah, but it's just a little indicator that it's special. Oh my gosh.
when we're in our morning routine, for example,
Mm-hmm.
when we light a candle, it really does signal your brain to shift gears.
Yeah.
And it's really effective. Lots of times, even in my office, if I need to switch gears, I need to get out of client mode and into creative mode, I will just sit
Mm-hmm.
here for a sec and light a candle.
Mm-hmm.
It does shift something, and it
Yeah.
gets me out of that workspace and into a more creative heart space. So to me, that's glam in the grind. We got to grind. We have to, right?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, again, I know you practice what you preach, but even in that, right? Like the mindfulness and the intention that you take when you've got to switch gears and just, you're still in work mode, but you're doing different kind of work, to be intentional about that shift.
Yeah, and I really do make the difference between head work and heart
Mm,
work. And
yeah.
head work happens here behind the desk on the computer. But I mean, you can't see this, but around the back side of my desk, I have a leopard chair.
Hmm.
And that's where the hard work happens. So
Okay.
lots of times when I'm, done with clients, but I still have stuff to do, I'll pick my, notebook up or whatever, and I'll go to the leopard chair. If you see me on video in the leopard chair, I'm doing some heart stuff. And
Yeah.
that distinction is very clear in my mind. This is a
Mm,
leopard chair. We did a whole thing with these gals I do some work with. Okay, she's in the leopard chair. This is different,
right.
right?
This is a different
And
kind of work.
it's different. It's work, but it's different work. It's work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. Okay, tell us about the 24-hour getaway concept.
Yeah. So Kevin and I have always been self-employed. He started his first business when we were 30 back in California. We spent many, many, many years on staff at our church. At the same
Mm-hmm.
time, I was a real estate agent at that time. So getting away for any extended period of time was really beyond challenging.
And how old were your kids at that point?
Oh gosh, Kevin started his business when Riley was 4. And so, I mean, they were little guys, right? Their whole lives, we've been self-employed. And so we just thought we still have to get away
Yeah.
sometimes, but we couldn't do it for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. And
Yeah.
so
No.
we just figured out small getaways. And now it's become, I mean, it's this whole perfected thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can literally take 24, 25, 26 hours and be completely refreshed by that
Wow.
time away. But
Yeah.
it takes some prep work, takes some intentionality, back to that
Mm-hmm.
word. So on the front end, I'm kind of uptight kind of gal. Can't
No, no
really get to
way.
the car. Oh no. Yeah, so I need to, change the sheets before we go. I need
Mm-hmm.
to check the mail and get the dog food made so that I can go away, really relax, and come home ready to get going to work
Mm-hmm.
again. And so we kind of front load the tasks and the chores to get that done. Get my little snack bag. I travel with snacks. Get
Yes.
my little snack bag going so that by the time we get in the car, I'm kind of relaxed because I've got the stuff done that would
Mm-hmm.
bug me
Yeah.
and really ruin. I can ruin a getaway if I'm stressed out,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But by doing those upfront tasks, I really can quickly become, vacation tone, and she's a
Mm-hmm.
lot more fun than
Mm-hmm.
stress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's part of it. We really compromise on what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, we both kind of like the same thing for a getaway, but we're very much in a state of compromise when we're doing something like this. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, I have to say no big talks about work, right?
Mm-hmm.
No big conversations. And he needs to be nice when he drives so that I'm not mad by the time we get there, right? So we really have perfected it. And you really can get away for 24 hours and come back refreshed and ready
Mm-hmm.
to go.
Yeah, yeah. So the main thing I'm hearing is like being prepared, like doing the prep work so that you're not still at home or work while you're away. Because what's the point? Then you get back and it's like it doesn't even feel like. And that's probably why people are like 24 hours isn't enough because they are still at work or at home because they haven't really prepared or shifted their minds and hearts to getaway mode.
Preparing ahead of time. If we're going to go, we just did this honestly, last Wednesday.
Hmm.
We went up to Fort Worth to see the Goo Goo Dolls.
I
And
saw
so,
that. Okay,
oh,
can we hold on? Time out. How was it?
the Goo Goo Dolls still have it. I'm telling
Okay.
you, they do. It was at the Dickey Arena or wherever
Huh?
that is
Uh-huh.
called.
Yeah.
And I bet there were 15,000 people there. It was packed. They
Uh
still sound like the Goo Goo Dolls of old. Yeah, it was excellent.
huh. That's
Excellent.
awesome. Yeah, no, I saw on your Instagram you were like, I'm up past 9 o'clock. All this is.
Well, it's kind of a joke because if you ever see me post a picture of an espresso martini, you'll be like, oh, she's staying up late tonight because I'm such an early to bed person. So like that's what gets me to stay awake
Is
past
an
8, 9.
espresso martini. Nice, nice choice.
Yeah, with a double shot. Right? Otherwise, I'd be like this during the day, sound asleep.
Okay,
So
okay. So y'all just did that on Wednesday.
no, we just did it last
Hmm.
Wednesday.
Hmm.
So I really, I'm looking at my calendar and I'm like, okay, Wednesday's coming. So I had a whole bunch of coaching clients I had to move around, got that all done a couple weeks ago. But I knew I had to make our life revolves around this little dog. I had to make
Sure.
dog food. So got that done like by Monday. That's all done. Got the mail checked. I have this thing. If we go away, I want to come home to fresh, clean sheets.
Yeah.
So I got the sheets changed. Right. So by Wednesday, I had 2 calls in the morning. So by 11 o'clock, we're on the road. I'm calm because I know when we get home Thursday,
Hmm.
everything's done.
Yeah.
Right? I
Right.
can come home with ease. We can go. We can have a great little trip. And the
Hmm.
other thing about these little quick getaways, they're really usually a couple hours at most of driving.
Sure.
So it's
Yeah.
not like we're, hopping on a plane. It's not like that. It's a quick little turnaround. And the other thing is on the way home, we kind of start talking about, what do we want for dinner? Do we want to grab a pizza, order in, or stop along the way so that we're home in time to get, ready to go the next
Hmm.
on
Hmm.
this big in at midnight and getting up at 6. That would
Yeah.
really stress me out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just planned, it's thoughtful, it's methodical. And I told these friends of mine, I was talking about this to some other friends of mine, and what it does, it resets us, right? For sure. It
Mm-hmm.
gives us a rest and a refresh and all that. But for Kevin and I, it reminds us that we really are good friends. We're really
Mm.
pals, right? We
Yeah.
love to pal around. And in the busyness and the cadence of life, it's easy to forget that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
Well, and
people,
just to live parallel, right? I mean, it'd be so easy to fall into that. Mm-hmm.
yeah. But these getaways are reminders of, I adore this guy.
Yes.
Yeah, he really is my favorite person to hang out with.
Yeah. He's so fun, even though he parks way far away. Love him for it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, what do you recommend on these getaways? So you're talking about like what the planning and the intention around it is. But what do you recommend? Like if somebody was like, "Oh, this sounds like a great idea. I'd love to do this, but I feel overwhelmed with like what do I do?" You know, I get the concept of planning and preparing, but then what do I do in that time frame of the getaway?
Love the getaway. Well, for us, and again, this is what works for us. So first of all, I wouldn't get into any big comparison. You
Yeah,
guys do what you like to do, right? This
exactly.
is what
Right.
works for us. We love a few things. We know each other well. So he loves a good steak dinner. So usually on one of these
Mm-hmm.
getaways, it involves a steak dinner somewhere.
Yeah.
We both really enjoy a hotel bar. So our favorite thing is getting where we're going to be, parking the car so we don't have to drive at all,
Mm-hmm.
posting up, having a cocktail at the bar, going to a nice dinner. He loves concerts. So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
our ways
Yeah.
he'll find. He just told me from, you heard it here first. Paul McCartney's coming to San Antonio in
Okay.
October.
Okay.
Right? So he's always looking. I don't know how
Yeah.
he knows, but he always knows who's coming to town.
That sounds like Jason. He's the same way.
I wouldn't know that if my life depended on it, but he
Neither.
always,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So oftentimes involves a concert. Um, I love breakfast. So day two always has breakfast out for me. And we both really love to shop. So a
Uh-huh.
lot of times we meander around shopping.
Yeah.
Now, I have other friends and, clients who really love nature and who want to
Mm-hmm.
be out, and their idea of a reset and a refresh would be get me out on a trail and
Yeah.
hiking. And I, for one, I'm not a nature person. I don't get nature. I don't
Mm-hmm.
ever want to be out on a
Right.
trail hiking. I mean, please, I never
That
want
would
to be on
not
a
be a
trail
getaway.
hiking. That would ruin me. But if that's your thing, it's perfect,
Hmm.
right? So I
Yeah.
really just think knowing yourself, knowing what you love, knowing what energizes you and what's fun for you,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
is that. That
Yeah.
that's the only rule. Do what you love.
Yeah. Well, and set some intention and plan it. And I mean, how with your clients and maybe even with yourself, how often would you suggest somebody be planning something like this
Yeah,
for
we try
themselves?
to do it. I would say maybe even quarterly,
Mm-hmm.
depending. Now, in others, I mean, our life is pretty simple now. It's just us and the dog, right? So um at this season of life, it's easy to do it quarterly for us. In
Mm-hmm.
other seasons of life, we just couldn't, right?
Yeah.
So it was done with less regularity. But I would say quarterly, it's great. The emotion of anticipation is so good,
Mm, it
right? And
is.
there's a
Yes.
lot of science behind what happens to your brain when you're living in anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
And so just knowing you've got a little fun trip on the books, very good,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Very good for you. So I would say plan that. I know for me, I know my stress indicators.
Mm,
I'm a little snappy. It's probably a good indicator that I could use some kind of a refresh.
yeah. 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 No,
So
that's
I
good
would
advice
say
too.
Yeah, I would judge it by that, maybe even more than the calendar.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and just paying attention, right? Like whether it's you're under a stressful season or it's maybe been a little bit of time and you're noticing the stress. But if you know what your stress indicators are, then that might help you to plan how often to try to do a getaway like that. Yeah. That's good. Okay. What about if somebody is just loving everything that you're saying and they want to practice all these things? What would you encourage them to do first? Like they love this idea of mindfulness, finding their purpose, intention. Where should somebody start to really dive into these concepts well?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously call me, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Call Tona.
aside
She will
from
help
that,
you.
right? That's a given.
Yeah.
No, I do think getting to that place of vision for your life. What do you want your life to look like?
Mm,
And I don't think we avoid that necessarily. I
right.
just don't think it enters our mind to do it.
Yeah.
So, um, the reason my company is called Life Imagined is because of that Henry David Thoreau quote that says, "Go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you have imagined." But here's the thing, Candace, before we can go confidently in the direction of our dreams, we have to create a dream. And
Right.
I think that's where we get stuck. We just haven't cast a vision, we haven't created
Mm,
a dream. So I would say, honestly, just sit with yourself
yeah.
and really think, what do I want, the next 3 months of my life to look like? Where
Yeah.
start thinking about it, start imagining it, envisioning it, write it down if you can. As soon as you get it kind of created in your mind, you can begin to take the next right steps
Yeah.
to calling it into existence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
call something into existence that you can't see.
Right.
So it
Yeah.
starts with casting a vision,
Mm,
whatever that looks like for you. And
right.
this doesn't have to be some big whole life vision, right? This really
Mm-hmm.
could be, I want to cast a vision for my health. I really want to lose, 15 pounds this
Mm-hmm.
year. So I've got 5 months to do it. What would that look like if, right? It could be that.
Mm-hmm.
It could be, I want to increase my productivity and my profitability in my business in the next 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I'm going to do that, where would I start, right? We
Yeah.
just begin to cast a vision, and then the pieces often reveal themselves.
Mm,
Or we put it out to a multitude of counselors and we get some help, or we pop it into AI and it'll
yeah.
help us, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
kinds of resources
Mm-hmm.
available to us.
Mm-hmm.
Starts by articulating your vision
Yeah.
for whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it can be really hard for people to dream. It takes some vulnerability, don't you think, for people to say, "Okay, I'm going to dream," because I know for a lot of people, they just feel like, "Well, what's the point?"
Right. Yeah, because we are not, I don't even know if we're wired that way,
Yeah. Yeah.
but we certainly aren't taught that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I often have clients when to get them started, and I think women might be a little better at this than
Yeah.
men. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's true. That's my sense. So I will often say, if you were going to tell yourself a story, how would you tell it?
Mm,
Right? And they can do that. And sometimes they need help. Like I'll have them
mm-hmm.
tell me, and I will say, okay, what are you wearing? What kind of car do you drive when you're, doing this or
Yeah.
that? And start with some of just the real easy visualizations.
Mm,
And it really gets fun because, we were created with such creativity, right? It
yes.
is in all of us. We
Mm,
just sometimes need someone to help us access it.
yeah.
A lot of that work in coaching.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and like you said earlier, having a safe person, right, just to help encourage that. Because again, it feels very vulnerable to go into that space of dreaming.
Yeah,
And so to have a safe person to hold space for that with us
that
can
is,
can help encourage it.
yeah. And that's usually not a first hour of coaching, right? We
Right.
grow in our
Of course.
relationship
Yeah.
so that my clients, I mean, they wholly trust me,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is a safe space. It's a very safe space.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and they're also not calling you and saying, "Hey, Tona, I need you to help me dream."
We lead in. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That is not at the top of their list.
that is right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Tona. Well, before I ask my last question, is there anything that we didn't cover that you wanted to cover?
Gosh, I don't know. This has been so delightful for
Oh,
me.
I
Thank you.
know.
You gave me a safe space to do this. I think I told you my word of the year. I'm big on a word of the year. And
Mm-hmm.
even though it's mid year, anybody can choose a word for the rest of
Yes.
the year. So
Yes.
if there is a word or an ideal that you want to call into existence, start with a word of the year because it gives you
Mm-hmm.
point of alignment, right? So my word of the year for my work this year was strategic expansion. So I have started this paid subscription newsletter, and my coach said, "You got to get on some podcasts, girl. You got to get your name out there." So I like made a list of the two or
Uh-huh.
three safe people I know that have podcasts, and you've
Yes.
encouraged me in a very lovely, lovely way. So thank you
Of
very
course. Well, when I started this, Tona, you were at the top of my list that you were going to be on my show at some point because anyway, whatever we ended up talking about, I didn't know what we were going to talk about, but I knew it was going to be good. So I always had you in mind to be on. So I'm glad that it was finally able to happen for us.
Me
Yes.
too. And
Yes.
I love your show.
Oh,
I
thanks.
love it. Yeah.
Thank you.
So fun.
Okay. So how do you take care of yourself well these days? What are you doing?
Yeah. Good question. I do take care of myself well, Candace. I have to. You
Mm-hmm.
know that. I've got some chronic stuff I deal with. And I go to bed pretty early. I'm real
Mm-hmm.
protective of my sleep. I
Unless
get up
there's an
early.
espresso martini and then she's
Of
a
course
wild
I
woman.
have to. That's right. That's right. So I do. I eat pretty well. I try to move every day, and I'm not out running marathons by any means, but I do try to get some movement in every
Mm-hmm.
single day. I really guard my heart and mind.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't, I don't watch really scary things on TV. I don't love a lot of stimulation, so
Yeah.
I'm protective in those ways.
Yeah.
Um, I read good books. I pour good things into my life. I have a very precious spiritual life. And I really am, I coach, right? I
Mm-hmm.
coach routinely. I'm a product of my product in
Mm-hmm.
every.
Yeah. 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 Well, you had mentioned, and I know I've known you long enough to know that you do these book clubs, right?
I do. Yeah. I
Yeah.
co-host with a friend a national book study called, so creative, The Book Study.
Love it. Well, yeah. What other book study we need to be part of?
That's my, The
This
Book
is the
Study.
one. So, what would, like, if somebody is a business owner, or maybe they want to be a business owner, I don't know. I mean, you are the guru to know, like, what do we need to be reading? What are some of the, like, top one, two, three books that you would recommend for business owners?
So many good ones. I mean, I think every business owner in the whole wide world should read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It was written in 1934. For goodness sakes, it has stood
Okay.
the test of time. I love that one.
Hmm.
There's another one by Sharon Lechter that is Think and Grow Rich for Women. That's
Oh.
very lovely. It's written, not too long ago. It's
Hmm.
lovely. I love that. The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz is one of my
Hmm.
high favorites. I actually have turned the Four Agreements into daily affirmations that I really do write 5 times every morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those Four Agreements
Okay.
are really principles to govern a life by, in my
Hmm.
opinion.
Yeah.
I love that. And probably one of my very favorite books is Atomic Habits.
Hmm.
Just think it's a game changer. I love,
Okay.
well, I love Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, Millionaire Success. I really love most, I love to read.
Well, and you love business and you love talking about business, so you also love to read about business.
Ooh, I
Yes.
really, really do.
Yeah.
My girlfriend Gretchen and I have this open book study. It is at no cost. It is so fun. Most Mondays at 3 o'clock Central Time,
Mm-hmm.
you can catch us. So
Awesome.
anybody can reach out to me and I can get you hooked up
Mm-hmm.
on that. You don't even have to attend, but we have so many people, hundreds of people that are just reading along with us. And
Yeah.
if they can join the Zoom, they do. It's
Oh, that's
great. And it's
great.
really good dialogue, really positive. Business is exchanging because people
Mm-hmm.
are getting to know each other from across the United States. So it's really a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, and it helps not to feel so isolated, right? Like it's a way to
Right.
connect.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
great connection. Yeah. And
Yeah.
we really
Yeah.
did
So
do
good.
that. We wanted to bring together people who love reading and create some
Mm-hmm.
community. So
Yeah.
it's great.
So good. So good. Okay. Where else can people find you?
I write a daily thought blog on social media every single day. My name, Tona Restine, or my
Mm-hmm.
company, Life Imagined,
Okay.
Instagram, social media, or Facebook. My monthly newsletter is The Stepping Stone, a monthly
Mm-hmm.
dose of mindfulness, and my website, lifeimagined.info. I'm
Okay.
really out there. Yeah.
Okay.
Or
And
we
we'll
can
link
call you and you can get a hold of me.
that's true. You can reach out to me and I can get you connected. But we'll
I'm
put
at the couch next door.
that's
Right?
right. We'll put all of that in the show notes. So if somebody wants to sign up for your newsletter, do they do that through your website?
They can do it. I think they can do it through my website.
Okay.
Or just email me, Tona at
Okay.
lifeimagined.info,
Okay.
and I will get you hooked up.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll definitely include all of that so people know how to find you and how to get signed up for that and with all the mindfulness tips. This was just a little bit of a taste of what all you would get in
Yeah.
that.
Really fun.
Just the beginning. Oh, Tona, this was so fun. I have always been thankful to know you. I want to be you when I grow up. I'm so glad that we got to spend this little bit of time together. And I know it's been too long, but it was so good to see you.
So good to see you. Please give Jason and your boys my
I
love.
will. I will.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Tona.